So thank you for that off the recording discussion there. Now, we've got some questions here. Is walking out of a meeting from a bully manager the best approach? It depends. If the manager is literally being violent, then yes, we need to find a way to get out of the same room. But if the manager is not being violent, they're simply yelling at you or being rude, simply note everything that's being said down. Simply note everything that's being said down. If you have to disagree, if you're given the opportunity to disagree, where the manager is asking for your opinion, then you simply express the fact that you don't agree with what is being said. On the other hand, if you find that you are not being given the opportunity to talk, then you write down what is being said. Once the manager has run out of steam and he's called an end, he or she has called an end to the meeting, you then type what has been said in that meeting, send a copy to the manager to say, this is my record of the meeting. And then you follow the normal escalation processes within your workplace. But I wouldn't walk out of a meeting from any bully unless they are threatening me physically. So that's my response to that question. And some admin also asked a very valid question here. What's your opinion on being a member of a BAME group, a Black and minority ethnic group at work? Well, over the years, as I said at the beginning of this, where you may not have been, at the beginning of this session, I said that I've always been scared of being identified with a group, a BAME network or a BAME group, or indeed a union, because I perceive that unions in particular, I think that, you know, if you're the member of that if you're the member of a union, then the issue is that, you know, I just perceive that, oh, that you could be seen as a troublemaker. But my perception has changed over the years, so that if I wanted to become a member of the union, or if anyone asked if they were to become, if they were a need to become a member of the union, then I'd say yes, join a union. On the other hand, when we're talking about BAME groups at work, if the company has established the BAME group, a BAME network, then why not join it? Because they've established it so that you can join, so that BAME employees can join and be supported by their peers. So yes, if you have a BAME group at work, join it. And don't just join to participate. Join to participate. If you're a member of any group, make sure you participate, contribute towards the goals of that group. Don't just be a member, a lay member. Contribute to discussions to improve the lot of the group that you've joined, the group members. So I am in our organization's BAME group, I'm also a Pride ally. That is an ally to a group that supports LGBTQG members, because I believe in supporting every single human being to be a human being. So if you join a group, then make sure that you contribute to the group. Yeah, LBGTQ. Thanks so much for that, Angela. I never get those words the right way around. But I am a pride ally because I can't bear to see any group of human beings being discriminated against. Ola, I can see that you're talking about I can see that you're saying that, you know, I mean, you're explaining, you know, the circumstances under which you chose to walk out, and I understand that. But all I'm saying is that, you know, I mean, that unless there is a threat of violence, then it may be better to just, you know, I mean, to just record things and then deal with things through the normal escalation channels rather than walk out and not achieve anything through that action of walking out. Now, how can we regain our confidence? First of all, we need to let go of the hurt.
Somehow.
And I know we can say that's easier said than done. And it is, actually, it is easier said than done. But I'm only saying that because this is what helped me to start rebuilding my confidence as a woman who had been hurt as a child. So set aside that pride, because when someone chips away at your confidence, what they're hurting really is your pride. I remember many years ago, please could we mute the person who's actually talking here, please, a second. Thank you. I remember many years ago that when my last boy, I was telling, no, he was actually saying, he was complaining about his brother, that his brother upset him. I said, where did he upset you? Well, you know, how did he hurt you? He said, he hurt my feelings. He said, he hurt my feelings. And I just smiled. But at the same time, I thought, actually, that's true, that when someone hurts us through their words, they hurt our emotions. They hurt our pride. Everyone was born with a sense of pride within themselves. Everyone was born with a level of esteem and confidence until people start chipping away through their words, through things. But at some point, if we're going to move forward confidently, we need to set aside that pride and forgive. And this isn't a commandment now, it's just a suggestion. So I'm not preaching, but we need to set aside that pride that has been hurt. Let go of that section of our hearts that has been hurt. Forgive those that have hurt us, especially parents who have said words to us when we're growing up, because those were the words that they heard from their parents. You may have managers who are bullies simply because they were bullied as a child. So that's the only way that they know to behave. That is all they know. Once we recognize that, we need to understand that, okay, that this person may not have intentionally hurt us. They were just behaving according to the way that they were taught to behave. So we set aside that pride, we let go of the hurt, seek justice if we have to seek justice, we forgive. That's the first step. But it starts with us setting aside our pride and thinking, okay, they hurt this section of my heart, so I'm going to need to set that aside. I'm going to need to forgive them. I'm going to need to forgive them, because the minute you start holding this person in your heart, as in this person did this for me, that space in your heart and your mind could be spent doing something more productive towards your purpose. But that portion of your brain and your mind and your heart is locked in thinking and reflecting on what that person did for you previously, what your parents said to you previously. In the meantime, that person that you're holding in your heart, in hurt, in unforgiveness, may have moved on. They may be thriving in their career, or they may be dead. And yet we're still holding on to the hurt when they can't even do anything about the hurt that they've caused you. In some cases, they can't even, they don't even want to do anything about the hurt that they've caused you. Some cases, they may be intentionally trying to hurt you. But we need to let go of that hurt and say, you know what, no matter what you do, you can't hurt me. I forgive you, even though I may need to seek justice, so that you can focus on yourself. And please learn to reject rejection. Do not tolerate negative labels. If someone labels you as stupid, whether you've got qualifications or not, you simply say, I disagree with you. I am not stupid. Don't say, what do you mean? Don't say, you're stupid. Simply say, I disagree with you. I'm not stupid. If someone tells you you're not good enough, they're trying to gaslight you, say to them, I am good enough. I'm actually better than you think. If you give me the opportunity, I'll show you that I'm better than you think. Do not tolerate negative labels. As an adult, you reject rejection. No, I am not stupid. Yes, I am smart. And that's not being rude. It's not being arrogant to say that that you're smart. If you're smart, you don't go around telling people how smart you are. But as soon as you have someone trying to gaslight you and to tell you that you're not good enough, you better start speaking up and saying, I am smart. I disagree with you. Don't try to reduce me. If you can't make me feel good about myself or better about myself than when you met me, then don't try to reduce me, because I'm not going to accept that. Don't accept that label that you're difficult, or that you're challenging, or that you're aggressive. If you're confident, then you tell people, I'm not aggressive, I'm confident. And there's a difference between the two. A person of aggression is a bully. A person of aggression is feared. A confident person, on the other hand, is respected. So don't tolerate anyone gaslighting you or applying negative labels to you. That black woman is aggressive. That is a label that black women have been labeled with. Don't accept that label. If you have someone ranting on your phone and calling you names. Delete the voicemail so that you're not playing it back to yourself over and over again. You've fallen out with a friend. Delete the voicemail. Don't let the message settle in your mind. You're a fool, you're stupid, you didn't go to school, you haven't got a job. Delete the message after the first time. You don't even need to listen to it till the end. You don't have any control over what people say to you, what other people say to you, but you've got control over what you choose to hear and what you choose to listen to and what you choose to absorb about yourself. So do not tolerate negative labels. Don't let anyone gaslight you or bamboozle you into thinking that you're not good enough. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I wrote on LinkedIn yesterday that there are a few things that emotionally intelligent human beings understand. Number one, no one chose their color before they were born. Number two, whether you're black, white, brown, we bleed the same color. Number three, everyone's blood is red. So don't let anyone tell you that because you're black, you're lazy, or you're not good enough, or you're violent, or you're black, you're from Nigeria, so you're a fraudster. That is gaslighting. That is a negative label that you need to instantly say, I disagree with you. I disagree. You reply, I disagree. And to regain your confidence as well, remind yourself of previous times when you've been in the dumps, where you've been in a pit, where you've been in trouble, where you felt, oh my goodness, how am I ever going to recover from this? T2 said earlier that he applied for 32 jobs and he got a no. And then he applied for the 33rd job and he got a yes. Remind yourself that you came back from 32 rejections. Remind yourself that you picked yourself up from the floor previously, and so you can do it again. 2020, as I said at the beginning, has been a really bad year, tough year for many of us here, including me. But that doesn't mean that 2021 is not going to be better. And remember, when you've hit rock bottom, where you can't sink any lower, that means that there's only one direction you can go in. You can only go upwards. You can only rise upwards. So regain your confidence. Write on your mirror as well. Remember a time when you were out of work. Remember a time when you applied for 32 jobs and you didn't get any, and then you got the 33rd. Remember a time when you were cleaning another human's office because you'd hit a career curveball. Remind yourself of previous comebacks. Don't dwell in that place of rejection. Don't dwell in that place of unforgiveness. Don't dwell in that place of reflecting and replaying in your mind what you've been told. what you've been told, what you've been called, what you've been called, what you've been told. Yes, and I like the discussion going on here. Assertion is very often mistaken for aggression. Assertion being mistaken for aggression. You know, people say, oh, well, that person's loud, so they must be aggressive. Or we have people saying all black women are aggressive. All black women are aggressive. Or all black people are aggressive because we speak loudly. I've got my dad's voice. I look like my dad, and I also have my dad's voice. And, you know, I mean, I can't change that. I'm not going to change it. This is what I was born with. So I'm not going to try to change it at all. I smile frequently and I laugh frequently, but I even laugh loud. But I smile and I laugh a lot just to tone down my dad's very strong Ibadan face. But at the end of the day, I'm not aggressive. I'm not an aggressive person. I am confident and I am assertive, but I am also able to listen, willing to listen. I am collaborative, but then don't go and label me as aggressive. Don't label me as aggressive just because I can stand up and say, no, you can't mistreat me. No, you can't mistreat my friend. No, you can't mistreat this stranger. So don't tolerate negative labels. Don't allow anyone to gaslight you. Don't allow anyone to cause you to believe that you're not a good person, that you're not a person of good character when you are. How can we regain our confidence? Let's think about seeking counseling. Talk to someone. Talk to someone. Talk to a counselor. As I said, we're going to set up a helpline, a counseling helpline. And, you know, we'll listen. We'll listen. But you need to talk to someone. Don't sit in your home alone, especially if you don't have a partner. Don't sit in your home alone crying. Talk to someone. Seek help. Please seek help. Don't allow anybody or any circumstance to take away your confidence. Don't give your confidence away to circumstance or to another person. Now, when we look at self-affirmation language, what is the worst? You need to start asking yourself, what is the worst that can happen if I speak up for myself? What is the worst that can happen if I apply for that job? Worst case scenario, they reject me. But again, they could actually hire me. Start asking yourself, what is the worst that could happen? Start replacing I can't do that with I can. In 2004, I delivered a speech to a group of uni students going away to, well, a group of students going away to uni for their first year. And I asked the question, who says you can't? Who says you can't do that? And please, could we mute the mics? I think someone's serving themselves a gin and tonic there or something. I can hear their glasses. So I asked the question, who says you can't? The only person that can tell you that you can't do something is you yourself. So start replacing I can't do that with I can. Because to me, I can't simply means I don't want to. I can't do that means I don't want to even try and do that. I can't start my degree at my age. It simply means you don't want to start your degree at your age. I saw on LinkedIn yesterday a lady, 64-year-old. I think she was an American, a Black American lady, starting her PhD. So who says you can't? The only person that can tell you that you can't do something is you yourself. So start saying, I can do this. Once you've actually defined your purpose, once you've actually defined what you want to do, start saying you can. Again, stick it on your mirror. And keep repeating to yourself that I'm lesser than no one and equal to all. So you're not a lesser human being than anyone. You're not. You're not a lesser human being than me. You're not a lesser human being than Timmy. You're not a lesser human being than anyone. You're equal to everyone, and no one is a lesser human being than you are. Others may have a different title to your job title, but it doesn't make you a lesser human being. And it therefore means that you should not have less confidence because you're an administrator. If you look at this whole pandemic season now, have you noticed that all the Amazon delivery drivers and all the Morrisons and Tesco's and Asda drivers, they've kept working during this whole pandemic. If they hadn't kept working, some of us would have starved during lockdown. So prior to the pandemic, I suspect society may have viewed drivers as lesser persons, but they're not. They're human beings, which makes them equal to all of us, that are doing different jobs. So you're lesser than no one and equal to all. And here now, as T2 said earlier, seek knowledge, upgrade your knowledge and skills. I actually believe in that saying, knowledge is power. I like the fact that I'm able to engage in a discussion on most things. So if I go to a conference, for example, and you've got a group of men, because my industry is mainly male dominant. So if I go to a conference and during the break or the recess, everyone's talking about football, I can contribute to that. If people are talking about economics or they're talking about Brexit, about the economic impact, I can contribute to that. Not because of my degree, rather because of knowledge that I gained when I was trading Forex in my, in my own bedroom. So seek knowledge, upgrade your knowledge and your skills. And I know that I've often read this saying on LinkedIn again, that it's not okay to be the smartest in the room. And if you're the smartest in the room, then you need to quit the room and go and find another room. I disagree with that. Why? It is okay to be the smartest in the room, because even if you're the smartest in the room, you can still learn from everybody else. You can learn from the cleaner that comes into that room. In the restroom, when you're in the restroom, in the ladies or the gents, and a cleaner comes in and you say, how's your day going? You can learn from them. So upgrade your knowledge and your skills and make every day a learning day. Make every day a school day. Whereas I said earlier, you make sure that you're learning one new fact a day. Upgrade at least one new fact a day, but upgrade your knowledge and skills, because life is a learning journey. And the day we stop learning, we literally die, because no one knows it all. But it is okay to be the smartest in the room, as long as you're not arrogant about it, and as long as you recognize that you can still learn from others in the room, and as long as you're ready to share your skills and your knowledge with kindness, not with arrogance. So how do we regain our confidence? Well, let's actually remember to recommit to ourselves. Please recommit to actually looking after yourself. Make yourself for 2021 the number one priority. Because if you don't look after yourself, if you can't look after yourself, you can't look after others. If you don't take care of yourself, if you don't take care of your mind, you can't take care of anybody else's mind. If you don't take care of your health, you can't take care of anyone else's health. If you're not kind to yourself, you cannot be kind to someone else. So recommit to looking after yourself as an individual. Recommit to taking care of yourself, to loving yourself. There's nothing wrong in self-love. After today, go and revalue yourself, as I said earlier. Revalue yourself and start looking at yourself in a new light. Get a piece of paper or many pieces of paper if you've got multiple mirrors. Stick them on the mirrors and put 5 bullet points of the good things about yourself, your strengths, to remind yourself that you're a valuable human being. Promise to look after yourself. And please note this bit here where I've said nocompare.com. Nocompare.com. That greener grass that you see could be artificial grass. And I thought about putting this in here and I just smiled because in the summer I was doing some exercise videos. I was trying to flatten my tummy. Rather than reducing my chocolate, I thought I could do it solely by exercise. And I actually achieved something for a while, but then it just, I mean, until I stopped eating chocolate, I mean, the gains were rather modest, or the, the reduction was rather modest. But I was doing the exercise that I was doing in in our garden, and I was actually posting those videos on YouTube and on and on my WhatsApp status. And I did them for about 5 days, and then someone sent me a message, and I believe she may still be on this call because she registered for the course, and I noticed she did log in earlier, but I'm not sure if she's still here. But she then sent me a message. She said, Ibukun, could you tell me the gardener that did your artificial grass? And I thought to myself, it's amazing that she actually noticed that it was artificial grass. I'm not sure if other people that were viewing those videos actually noticed or realized that it was artificial grass on our lawn. But I guess some may have actually been admiring that grass, thinking, oh, wow, that their grass looks so, that it's always low, that it looks well cut. Whereas my husband, the man of the house who claims that he wanted to be cutting our grass, yeah, never once did it, which is how we came to get our artificial grass. But that greener grass could be artificial grass. So don't compare yourself to anyone. Nocompare.com. Actually, the ladies just joined in the meeting now. So nocompare.com. Don't compare yourself. Don't compare your progress to anyone else's progress. Don't be envious of something that someone else has achieved unless you're envious to a point where it actually increases your determination to achieve your goals and no more. Don't let envy tip you to the point where you're wishing that other person could fall so that you can actually achieve what they've achieved in their own. But nocompare.com, because that greener grass could be artificial grass. So we need to remove that comparison. I wish I were that person, or I wish I were the other person. Remember, I've said all along that we each have our strengths and things that are going well for us, but we each have weaknesses. So don't wish that you were me in my shoes unless you want to take on my pains and my weaknesses. Don't envy that greener grass because it could be artificial grass. Don't compare yourself to anyone. And self-evaluate. Always self-evaluate. Develop your emotional intelligence. Make sure that you're always working on your emotional intelligence. If you'd like to, you can actually visit the Ladder Back Down's YouTube channel and check out our emotional intelligence workshop that we delivered a few weeks ago if you weren't in attendance on that. But develop your emotional intelligence, which is far more important than your academic intelligence, by the way. It's easy or easier to train someone in a task like IT, for example. I can train someone to build a PC, but I can't train an adult.
How are you doing?
I cannot train an adult in character. So it's up to each adult to develop their emotional intelligence. Develop your emotional intelligence. Constantly evaluate yourself in areas that you may need to develop yourself, in areas of weaknesses, and develop your emotional intelligence. Develop your character. Develop your integrity. Develop your self-control. Constantly evaluate yourself. So even though you're putting on your mirror the good things about yourself, having a little notepad, areas that you need to develop, and tick them off one by one as you start to see improvements. As you start to see improvements, you tick off any areas that need to be developed. And then as you're constantly evaluating yourself, you add more to the list because no one's perfect. No one is perfect. Now, let's ask ourselves this question. Can I actually esteem others if I have a low self-esteem? So this is a question for discussion. We may want to actually just put this in the chat window and I'll take a look. Questions? Can I esteem others? Any responses to that? Can I actually esteem others if I have a low self-esteem myself?
Is anyone contributing? Do you want to chat or do you want to? Oh,
Uh,
we're
uh, uh,
getting some.
yeah. I think some people are actually putting this in the chat window. So I'll go down to answers. Okay, so we're saying that you can definitely esteem others without esteem if you have a low self-esteem yourself. Okay, so we're saying it's possible to see the good in others whilst not seeing the good in ourselves. And Amma said, I would say yes, I struggle with confidence, but I am naturally good at encouraging others. Okay, so most of us seem to think that we can esteem others whilst having a low self-esteem ourselves. Okay, would anyone like to actually speak and say there's say how they've managed to do that? So Amma, is Amma D able to unmute herself or yourself?
Hi, Bookham.
Hello, Amma. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Fine,
It's been a
thank you
great
very much.
session so far.
Thank you.
Um, I think I'd say that I'm everyone's greatest cheerleader, but sadly, not for myself. I don't know how that has happened, but it has. So it seems that I can encourage others. I've coached others to get into new fields. I've done all sorts to get into my field, but I seem to be a barrier to myself sometimes.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I guess we'll have to have a private chat at some point if you'd like to. But
Yes,
yes.
please. Yeah, I think others may agree, or some others that you can get in your own way sometimes, um, and block yourself. But
Uh-huh.
but equally, you can uplift others because it's not your life you're focusing on. You're pushing that focus onto somebody else and finding a way to enrich them. So it's very different. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's fine, thank you. Thanks so much for that. And everyone seems to agree that, yeah, I mean, and so T2 has said, esteeming others is basically affirming to them what you see. It can then become a mutually beneficial exercise that enables you to receive compliments yourself and open your own eyes to see things about yourself too. So we're saying that, yes, that we can esteem others, even though we may have a low self-esteem and not see the good in ourselves. But what T2 is saying here is that it in esteeming others, that what it can do for us is enables us to receive compliments ourselves and then open our own eyes to see things about yourself too. So I guess maybe I need to rephrase this question. Can we see good in the good in others without seeing the good in ourselves? But everyone seems to be saying yes, that we can do that and that sometimes that can happen. Yeah, and what we need to do though is to, from today, as I said, and as I keep saying, list those good things in ourselves, because if we don't love ourselves truly, even though we can say that we're loving others, it's it's difficult to love each others as fervently as we should love them if we don't love ourselves. So I hear what everyone's saying here is that it is possible to affirm others. And Joy, I see your hand raised there, so we will get to you. Yes, it is that we are able to esteem others with a low self-esteem. And I guess maybe what I did, if you remember, I say that for many years I used to help people write, their papers if they were being bullied or harassed or discriminated against and stuff, but I never stood up for myself. But that is self-defeating, I'd say. That is self-defeating behavior, because if we're busy there just giving of ourselves, giving of ourselves, giving to others what we're not giving to ourselves, eventually we'll become depleted, especially if we're esteeming others that are not esteeming us in it, I mean themselves. So they're not actually esteeming us themselves. They're taking, but they're not giving anything back. And that's a very good comment there, Flams, and I'll get back to you, but please could we let Joy speak, because I know that Joy has had her hands raised there. Joy, would you like to unmute yourself, please? Thank you.
Yes. Hi. Good morning,
Hello.
everyone.
Hello,
Morning
good
from
day.
here. Yes.
Hello.
Thank you so much. It's been a great teaching so far. And I feel very strongly about this topic because of what I do, and I've encountered lots of people who struggle with this. So in response to your question, when I read that, I'm like, um, esteeming other people in my experience with working with people has been, I see that people have taken two ends of a continuum. They are either, when I say people, I mean people who have low self-esteem. They are either hero worshiping, that's on one end, or on the other end, they are decrepating the other people. So it's like I have seen two extreme responses to from people who have difficulty with their own confidence. It's either they're hero worshiping, or they take the extreme end where they're pulling the other person down.
Yeah.
So I wonder how it is possible for a person who has low self-esteem to truly esteem other people healthy in a healthy manner without overextending themselves to be overtly hero worshiping and
Yeah.
taking everything hook, line, and sinker, or in an attempt to boost some a gap that they have, they find ways to pull the other people that are more confident than them down. So that's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and that's really valuable there. Actually, so what you said there, I totally understand, and I totally appreciate, and I actually agree with, because we have talked about the fact that some people with low self-esteem, they tend to try and pull people down to their level. But I hadn't mentioned the hero worshiping, because I hadn't even thought about that. But that is quite, I understand and agree with what you said there. That are they really truly esteeming the other person, or are they simply hero worshiping them? In some cases, because they've been told that they have to hero worship this person because that person is more senior to you in age, or they're more senior to you in a position or rank or title in the workplace or in your place of worship. So I totally understand and agree with you there that we shouldn't mistake esteeming for hero worshiping. That there's a difference between esteeming someone and boosting someone's confidence. And I agree with you that it may be difficult for someone who lives with a low self-esteem to actually esteem others, because again, I still believe that you can hardly give what you don't have. So thanks very much for that, Joy. And I like what Chibudum has said here. If you treat others with respect, you must treat yourself with respect as well. If you treat others with respect, you must treat yourself with respect. Otherwise, as Joy has just said there, you're simply hero worshiping those people. You're not respecting them because you can't give what you don't have. You can't give to someone else what you're not giving to yourself, or you shouldn't. Maybe I should say you shouldn't give what you're not giving to yourself to someone else. If you don't love yourself, you have no business loving someone else, because you have to commit to yourself and look after yourself first. You must look after yourself first. Ola said here, I think our language barrier or our accents could make some people think we have low self-esteem because we can't pronounce certain words. Yes, but our accents should not define us as humans. I don't care what your accent is like. If I can't understand your accent, as long as you can say one word that I can understand, that's fine. Or as long as you can write down what you want to say to me, that's fine. But your accent, your language, your intonation, your color, anything about you should not result in a low self-esteem. It should not. It should not. Treat others with the same respect that you treat yourself with. Treat others with the same respect that you treat yourself with. You cannot afford to treat others with more respect than you give to yourself. You cannot afford to esteem others more than you actually esteem yourself. Because there are so many people out there willing to label you as what you're not. So you don't want to join them. You don't want to keep telling yourself that you're stupid, that you're not smart, because there are too many people out there in society willing to tell you that already. And Amadi has said that I think esteeming and being psychophantic are completely different. Yes, they are different, but in some cases, we can actually transcend from simply trying to esteem someone to being a hero worshiper. Where we're esteeming them simply because we've been told to esteem them or we've been commanded to esteem them when they're not esteeming us ourselves. I can't respect you if you don't respect me. I can work with you, I can talk to you, but I will hold no respect for you if you don't respect me. Because I can't give to you what you're not giving to me, and I definitely can't give to you what I'm not giving to myself. So yes, there's a very thin line between being a person who esteems others and a person who hero worships others. But I also understand, Amadi, where you're saying that yes, that some people are good at esteeming others whilst they're hiding their own low self-esteem and their own pains and hurts from what has happened to them in their past, from different situations or circumstances that they may be facing now. Yes, some people may actually be esteeming others whilst they're actually feeling less confident about themselves. I hear you, but I'm simply saying it's not right. You need to take care of yourself first. You need to recognize the good in yourself. You need to focus, recommit to yourself, love yourself, start seeing the good in yourself. Start seeing, start loving yourself. And then start giving out of that love. Start giving out of that self-esteem to others. Start esteeming others from what you've given to yourself. So we did say that we're going to write down our 3 personal goals for 2021. And I hope that some of us may have come with a pen and paper today, because I think it's important that we actually write our goals down. There's something really good about writing, not simply typing and then shutting things away on a computer, writing down those goals. Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. Write down 3 personal goals that you aim to achieve for 2021. Identify the steps that you will take to achieving those goals. Those steps might include a name change. You may need to change locations. You may need to change your friends because, as T2 said, your network is your net worth. You change the friends that you're moving with. If they're not motivating you and inspiring you, if they're not encouraging you, if they're sharing a same room with you and engaging in the same pity party with you, they're not esteeming you, then change friends. Why did I say name change? Do you see these actresses and actors? So I'll say this briefly and then I'll talk about myself. So name change, these actors and actresses, they always have an alter ego or a different name. So if they're born as Teddy Bear Jones, then they go and change their name to something that may endear them towards an audience. But in my case, what did I do? So I was born with Ibukun as my middle name and Caroline as my first name. And I went to Nigeria and then I returned. I was taken to Nigeria and then I returned. And at one point, I decided, you know what? I'd like to actually start living up to the name Ibukun, which means blessing, blessing of God, actually. So I changed my name. And I went and changed my name by deed poll. And I simply told my workplace that from Monday, I would like to be called Ibukun instead of Caroline. And they asked me, what is the short version of Ibukun? And I said that you can either call me Ibukun Oluwa, which is the full version of that name, or you can call me Ibukun. Ibukun Oluwa means blessing of God, and Ibukun means blessing. But at the time that I changed my name, I changed it because I wanted to start living up to that name. So if you need to change your name before 2021, change your name. Location shift, you may want to shift your location. You may need to shift your location for a job if you can. I shared a few weeks ago, and I'll share this again in this workshop. At some point, 1997 or so, I decided that I'd had enough of the UK. I was working as a secretary and I was working in London Ambulance, which was opposite my flat on Waterloo Road. So right opposite the office. Working as a secretary, comfortable. And then I decided that I was going to leave the country as a single parent with 3 children to move to the US to change my career. I said, I'm tired of being a secretary. I'm comfortable here. And I went. My parents said, keep your flat just in case you need to come back. I said, no, I'm not going to come back. But then I moved to America, got a job, but the visa was taking too long to come through. And due to certain circumstances, I decided to move back. I then had to move back. I'd left my flat, of course, so I couldn't move back to the flat with these 3 children. And then I moved back to Charlton, got a flat in Charlton. And then the following year was when I decided to start changing my career. If I hadn't made that shift from that flat, shifted my location to a country where I didn't have a job to go to, where I was hoping to get a job and eventually got a job. But if I hadn't changed my location, I would never have transitioned into IT. And I wouldn't have met my husband, who's been my Soul, when we talk about in the human form, my soul helper of destiny. So if you need to change your location, change your location. If you need to change your friends, change your friends. And if you need to shed things to get you there, then shed those things. If you need to get rid of your Facebook account, get rid of it. If you need to get rid of certain clothes in your wardrobe, get rid of them. Disable or delete your Facebook account to focus on studying. Declutter your life. Focus on what you want to achieve. Start that journey. During the journey, you need to work hard. You need to also measure your progress, measure how you're getting along, and reward yourself when you achieve one of your objectives. Don't compare yourself with others, and forget this comment that winners don't quit. Winners sometimes do need to quit. Like Ifeoma said earlier, she had to leave that job for the sake of her confidence. Sometimes you need to quit. Sometimes you need to pause. Sometimes you need to retrace. Sometimes you need to take a detour. But just don't stop pressing on. Keep pressing on. Don't stay parked at the service station. Celebrate your successes and continually develop your character. Even as you're learning and learning, you're learning academically, you're learning maybe spiritually if you're a spiritual person, never stop learning and continue to develop your character, your emotional intelligence, which is the most important thing of all. If you want to enhance your confidence, develop your character. Be a decent person, a good person. Develop your integrity. Work on your confidence. Don't think that integrity doesn't pay most of the time. Yes, it may not pay, but at least it buys you a good sleep at night. Buys you a good sleep at night. Never stop learning. Throughout 2021, we need to stay focused. We need to stay confident. And we shouldn't be afraid of what is to come, because 2021 will definitely be better than 2020. This year has been a tough year. I recognize that. In terms of our confidence, I recognize that it's been tough. It's been really tough. But 2021 will be better. But let's spend the whole of December just working on our goals, sticking up these things on our mirrors around the house, reminding ourselves. If you want to record voice messages to yourself, reminding yourself of the good in you, do so. And play those voice messages back to yourself repeatedly. Remind yourself all the time that you are a good person, that there is good in you. Don't let the words of the past crush you and stop you from living the rest of your life as a confident person. Don't allow that. We've come to the end of the session. So what I'm going to do is to now go to the chats window and we'll just chat about this, and then we'll close. So any questions, please? Questions, comments? Yes. Oh, okay. So I'm smiling about this Ola's comment here, that you once told an interviewer that your weakness is your accent. And her response was that she couldn't notice anything wrong with your accent. If anyone couldn't understand you, then the person should train their hearing. Absolutely. Absolutely. If someone struggles with your accent, you need to think, well, what makes them think that you should be able to readily understand their accent? We come from different backgrounds. We come from different backgrounds. So please, just make sure that you don't allow, and please, I mean, next time you go for an interview, don't tell anyone that your weakness is your accent. An accent is not a weakness. An accent is definitely not a weakness. Our accent arises from where we were born. Yes, we can go to places, we can attend courses to try and change our intonation, but the most important thing is that we're able to speak clearly and confidently with your accent. With your accent, speak clearly and confidently. Questions, comments, please. I'll close the course, I'll close the workshop now, and I'd like to just say thank you to absolutely everyone who has joined us for our previous sessions and for today's sessions. We recognize that, you've given up your Saturday to come, and you've listened and contributed as well today. We'll put the videos on on YouTube, and I'll also post a link on LinkedIn. And unfortunately, I didn't put the closing slide in this today. I actually forgot to put the closing slide here, which points out where my LinkedIn where my LinkedIn portal is. But if you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, so here's my full name. You can search for me. There's only one of me now. There used to be many Ibukun Adebayos, but there's only one Ibukun Emmanuel Adebayo. So search for me on LinkedIn and on Twitter as well. Connect with me there. And you can also join the ladder back down on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on YouTube as well. So connect to us there. And I'd like to just take Emma's question because Emma has raised her hand. Emma, please do go ahead and talk. Ask us a question, please.
Oh, sorry, that was a mistake.
Oh, it was a
hit the wrong-
mistake?
Yes,
Okay,
sorry.
no worries at all. No worries at all. Any comments, questions? Comments, questions? And if none, I'll stop the recording now. And then if anyone wants to stay behind, as has always been the case for an off-record chat, then please feel welcome to do so. Thank you to everyone who
Sorry, I
has
was
come.
gonna.
Oh, please
Hello,
go ahead,
can you hear me?
T2. Yeah,
Yes,
yes, we can hear you.
I was gonna just stay quiet and let this and just end the session, but I saw something that was very, very important and I needed to say it. Mentorship is very, very important.
Yeah,
Mentorship, getting a mentor, and not just getting a mentor, but getting a mentor so you can be a mentor yourself.
yeah,
Because being a mentor is a gift that keeps on giving. Because for you to be a mentor, you have to step up to a certain level anyway. So for you to be a mentor is like looking forward to your target, your own goal. But then for you to find a mentor is looking for that person, not being a sycophant as has been talked about earlier, but looking for someone who will dedicate or engage you with their time and look to work with you to get from point A to point Z being your to be where you want to get to. So if I had to advise anybody who's suffering from any maybe either marginal self-esteem or copious amounts of low self-esteem or whatever, just look for a mentor. Get yourself a mentor or multiple mentors, people who would be able to dedicate time to you and with you and share that and share their own experiences to help you so you can get from one point to the other. You can get a speaker mentor, you can get a financial mentor, you can get a career mentor. There's different types of mentors you can get, but definitely mentorship is a very good one to help you to, and it's cathartic, it's therapeutic, and the fact that it's probably not a family member, for example, means the person probably doesn't know your background or your history, and it's just taking you for what they see at that point, which can also be very, very helpful. So that's just what I wanted to say.
Thank you so much there, and I absolutely agree with you that a mentor is so important, and many workplaces tend to have mentors. They have mentorship schemes rather, or they start or they start in mentorship schemes, which is really good. And yes, so counseling, mentorship, that is very important. And I note that Angela said, how about starting a mentorship here, which is something that we have got on the Ladder Back Down website, but we haven't actually gotten around to starting that. But that is definitely something that we're considering for 2021, plus our budgeting scheme, which we've already started talking about. So I'll stop the recording. Thank you, everyone. And then we'll continue these discussions post me having stopped the recording. Thank you so much.